Boy, you look great, she looks great, he looks great, whatever. They get together, they make love. And it says right here, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. Then you have Genesis 24 and verse 67. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife. And he loved her, and Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. So here Isaac brings Rebekah into the tent. They make love, and they are, in the eyes of God, they have entered into a very intimate sexual relationship. And they have entered in the eyes of God, they have entered into a covenant of marriage at that point. Adam knew his wife, and that basically was the marriage covenant right there being performed. Now, what I'm saying is what constituted the marriage was the act of sex. Once you entered into a sexual relationship with that person, you were, in the eyes of God, married. You had entered into a covenant with that person. Now, I think the common denominator back then was that they were committed to one another. Yes, committed. You know, this was not sex for the sake of sex. They were committed to one another, to be with one another, and to take care of one another. This is why, you know, in the Bible, when you see the example of rape, Deuteronomy 22 and verse 25, but if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lie with her shall die. In other words, this man is put to death because he has done something very wrong. He has forced her. He has raped her. But think about this also. He's put to death. But think about it. From God's perspective, this man was not committed to anything. It was forced sex. It was sex for the sake of sex. No commitment. No commitment. And he's put to death. Just think about that. Now, I know, okay, a lot of people have a hard time with this. You know, okay, well, but what about relationships falling apart? What about divorce? Okay, what about that? Okay, I understand that. Jesus spoke about divorce. Matthew 19 and verse 8. He said unto them, but Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives, but from the beginning it was not so. In other words, from the beginning, it was God's intent that if you entered into a sexual relationship, if you were going to share in that kind of intimacy, you had better be committed to that person for life. Now, imagine if we taught our children this. You know, son, daughter, look, okay, this girl that you're dating, yeah, son, she's hot, she's sexy, she's beautiful, she's gorgeous. But I want to tell you something, son. If you enter into a sexual relationship with this girl, this woman, this young woman, you are, in the eyes of God, married to her. You have entered into a marriage covenant with her. Suppose we taught our sons and daughters this. Instead of teaching them nothing, instead of just saying, well, I hope they figure this stuff out for themselves, suppose as we, as a role model, taught them and said, look, okay, yeah, I know you're going to be tempted to do this, but I want you to understand, once you do this, once you enter into that sexual relationship with that person, you are, in the eyes of God, married to her. And you're going to have to be committed to her.